talk about talent acquisition, it's a term which I'm not very sure applies to, if we look at it, I'm not too sure how what I'm going to talk about is going to be seen in that light. What I'm going to be talking about is skill development. Oh, okay, you got a presentation there. Okay, fine. Actually, there isn't too much in that presentation. It's just some basic stuff. I think if I talk my very first slide, this just talks about human capital. I think we had the example of Japan and Germany being taken earlier. Nothing. No resources, no mineral resources, nothing. Their economies were built on brains and muscle. Human brains, human muscle. And that really is what I'm going to be talking about as we move on. Yeah, okay. I'm actually going to be talking about skill and employability and also about empowerment. Empowerment particularly of the disenfranchised, disempowered. First just to talk about skill. I mean, we all have different meanings or different, if I take this off. Actually, somebody spoke about, not being recognized when they came here. I don't wear this actually at the office, as my people know. I actually wear a t-shirt to office, and even when visiting customers I wear a t-shirt. That's so that the customer recognizes that I'm from Lincoln Electric because it's a t-shirt with the Lincoln Electric badge and a statement that we are not office type people, we actually come to the shop floor and help. But I wear this so that people recognize that I'm a speaker so that I don't get mistaken. So, yeah, now coming back to skill. I actually have I want to give an example of two people, and you can decide who has a skill. There's a friend of mine who makes spinach basil lasagna. Exotic stuff, he makes his own, grows his own basil, gets spinach and he has a very fancy recipe. And it's, I've had it, I'm not a big fan of lasagna, but it's good, and many people say it's just brilliant. As compared to that, I have, if you see around Mahindra city, there are a number of people who actually are young guys, but their skill is in making dal roti. They specialize in making dal roti. They go to various houses in the evening, make dal roti at various times. 5 to 6 I make dal roti for you, 6 to 7, etc., etc. And that's how they work. Now the question is, which one is a skill? Unfortunately, for my friend who makes lasagna, who thinks he's greatly skilled as a cook, in my definition, that's not a skill because it doesn't add economic value. Nobody's ready to pay for his skill in making that lasagna. Whereas the number of people who are ready to pay for these guys who make dal roti in the evening, any number. That really is what I want to be talking about. So when I say that skill, skill with very, very limited opportunity is not really a skill. In Lincoln Electric, for example, what we do is we manufacture wire. We manufacture welding wire. We take the wire, we take raw wire, draw it through a number of draw bench, coat it with copper, and that's a very skilled process. We have a number of wire drawing operators who are very skilled in that, and that's how they. It's a very skilled operation. So you would say that we are actually imparting a skill. We could go around saying that we are imparting skill, we are hiring fresh people and imparting skills to them. But it's not a marketable skill. It's not a skill that somebody outside would be willing to pay for. And that is fundamentally what we are looking at, which is how do we create market opportunities for these people, because if that skill is limited to some other wire drawing company, the number of wire drawing companies are few and far between. That's not really a skill of value. That's really what we are looking for. So, how do we do this? wire drawing and packing, which we have in our company, has pretty limited opportunity. I mean, it's not much scope for growth. But within our own organization, at worker levels, we have a number of different opportunities which are available. Effluent treatment plant. We have an effluent treatment plant. And companies all over have effluent treatment plants. We have forklifts, so we need forklift drivers. And forklift drivers have a value everywhere. Welders. Welders are welders everywhere. So we have welders in our company. So what we do is we try to see how we can get these people to become, how we can get our people who are in different unemployable jobs to get into employable jobs. That's really what we are looking for. And that's however, as a start. Moving on to what is really what we believe in. And this really is, something which I'm very passionate about. So therefore, it's, you can excuse me on this. So, a number of people, I've seen this going around, that there's a WhatsApp and stuff going around in social media, that, meritocracy or a person's merit is really what it's all about in life. And meritocracy is actually, so many of you may be surprised to that if I'm saying this, I'm probably going to be saying the opposite. But you're right. There's a belief, there's a WhatsApp which is going around about, who Bill Gates' parents were and how he is so brilliant, coming from a very impoverished background, how he's actually created a big company and he's grown and so on and so forth. Fantastic guy. No, it's a great guy. Bill Gates is a great guy. We need to know that his father was a lawyer, a very rich lawyer, and his mother was a director in a company. Now that is very, very fundamental. Because when we look at the disempowered mass of people in India, from relatively impoverished backgrounds, people who do not have the wherewithal and the opportunities to actually get education, which can take them to a level similar to what we do. And this really is the crux of the matter. We have in our, so when we say meritocracy, yes, people do have there's a certain amount of merit which is involved. But that merit has come largely because of opportunities which were available due to your socio-economic background. And this is fundamentally the difference. So why when I say, meritocracy comes to a certain point in time, when you hire a person in your company, and many companies look at it as, having two levels of people, two castes or two different castes of people. You have the blue collars and then you have the white collars, or you have, the management cadre and then you have the worker cadre and stuff like that. So this is fundamentally the difference that you have. Now, at Lincoln, we do not have such a difference. We believe that everybody can rise to the level of his potential, and there are no class ceilings. This is fundamentally the difference in how we look at things versus, you could look at it, I'm not saying that other companies perhaps don't look at it that way. But in my experience, what I've seen is that there is a certain traditional level at which, a blue collar worker can rise, and beyond that, nothing. And this, to a large extent, if you look at it, has been the cause of industrial unrest. I think we spoke about industrial unrest earlier. People going on strikes. Why do people go on strikes? People don't go on strikes just for fun. They go on strikes because they have a reason. And this is really the crux of what I'm talking about. So, to give you an idea of what we actually have, the kind of changes that we have at Lincoln Electric, we believe that actually that operators can occupy higher roles in life. We believe that they can take on higher responsibilities. We have actually successfully moved people to various positions within, like say, junior management positions, quality inspector, buyer, sales service engineer. We moved people to IT. We moved people to HR as well. So these are people who have come from relatively underprivileged backgrounds, and they have actually not seen the opportunities as to how they can move into these kind of management circles. And that's really the journey we've been on in taking them from one level to a different kind of level, to opportunities which they had not actually perhaps seen earlier. Now, the thing is this, that when we actually take these people and, when we take a worker or, a person who's at a lower level operator and make him into a quality inspector or a buyer or even somewhere a hardware engineer for IT, there's a fair amount that we actually have to invest. So, the question is, why do we do it? I mean, are we sort of philanthropists? Are we sort of doing it for for the benefit of society? No, we are a profit-making organization, and we think it makes very good business sense to develop people. It's very good business sense, and here's why. Just being blunt about it is being extremely blunt. People, even after, if you promote people and if you train people and bring them up from within, even after paying for their training costs, their costs are less than the costs outside. How do we measure that? We actually measure that by benchmarking. We have both Mercer and Dow Watson as sort of benchmarks, and we are able to benchmark and see that we are actually paying less than what we would have paid if we had got somebody from outside. Furthermore, when we get somebody from outside, you're getting somebody who you think is perfect, but actually there are hidden weaknesses. As far as the guy you're promoting from within, you know for sure who he is. You've seen all his defects, you've seen all his weaknesses, and he comes to you with those. And you thereafter know that you can train him or mold him in the way that you want. Now, does this mean that we are actually exploiting these people? Well, actually no, because they have grown significantly more than what they would have had they remained as operators. But in their current level, we could well say that we are, in a sense, paying them less than what they would get in the market. That's a fact. But for what we've invested in their training, we believe that that's something that we are entitled to. So this, that's really it's a good business decision, and it's win-win. Have there been issues? Yes. People who come from underprivileged backgrounds, unlike most of the people sitting here, I'm making a wild guess. If there's anybody who's different, my apologies. But I'm assuming all of us come from, everybody in this room is from a reasonably privileged background. And that really is, what I'm putting up there is issues relating to language, speech, confidence, understanding of a customer, everything. These are things which they've never been exposed to. A lot of these people actually come from villages, very small villages, agrarian backgrounds, and that's really the problem that they have. So the vast investment that we have is more in soft skills, in training these people and getting them to that required level. The important challenge that we face here, apart from training these people, when we ask somebody, okay, please somebody needs to be moved, please transfer it to this department, please transfer from production to quality. First thing you look at, who is the worst guy in my department? Right? Absolute goof off okay, this is the guy I'm going to transfer. What we do is, we actually have a ranking of people based on the training tests and training scores, and we actually hire the best. We take the best on. And this causes a lot of heartburn for the people who's surrendering that person. Now that's how so for us, what we have, one of the very important goals that we have for our managers is that they have a certain minimum number of people whom they transfer. They have to transfer a certain number of people, and that's a goal which is set for them. They have to train and transfer so many people, and they have to bring in and innovate people, bring in and train people to take on those responsibilities as operators, as whatever. So that's really the. So we come to the important question. And this is a question which keeps getting asked. What happens if we invest in developing our people and they leave? It's a good question. So, what's the answer?
Cost of doing business.
What happens if we don't and they stay? So, this is really the problem, and I think everybody in HR can appreciate this. There are people who have not been developed, and they don't even leave your company. They actually stay, and that's stagnation. So we have something very drastic. We actually have goals for attrition. HR has a minimum goal for attrition. So we say that of course most attrition goals are set as ceilings, but we have a certain minimum goal, and that's something which we expect should get followed. So finally, to sort of sum up, that's my last slide. For people to develop, I think the company has to grow. If the company is not growing, there's not going to be growth in jobs, and that's fortunately something that we have. Attrition, which we believe is essential. Availability of marketable roles, and that's something which we have. I think every company will have marketable roles. And of course, finally, management determination. That's really what it's all about, because unless the management is determined to develop people, there will be a status quo which is forced on the system. That really is correct. So I'll end on that note, and once again, thank the organizers.
May I request Rajalakshmi, AVP of Citibank, to kindly come over and honor Mr. Sundarram Srinivasan. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a 5-minute coffee break. Coffee and biscuits are available outside, so we can take a comfort break and assemble back as soon as possible. 5, max 10 is what we'll look at. Thank you. I hope you've already had your coffee and that's why you're here. We would like to assemble back in 5 to 7 minutes.
Start from the